You are listening to an exclusive interview on Bass Musician Magazine.
Hey everybody, this is Raul for Bass Musician Magazine, and today we have the great honor and pleasure of having the chance to chat with bassist Blaise Sison.
Hey,
and a lot of you might remember Blaise or might know him from his work with the Family Stone. But he has played with a plethora of illustrious musicians. We can certainly chat a little bit about that. But because we want people to get a chance to know you, Blaise, tell us a little bit how you got started in music. I seem to recall a little bit of ukulele.
Yes,
there.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was literally in the 5th grade, so that would make me around 10, 11 years old. I'm a November born, so I've always been like, my birthday was late in the year. I was 17 when I graduated high school, and what? Anyway, yeah, so back then, a friend of mine, this guy I got a credit too, he's a good friend of mine. I give him credit because he taught me how to surf.
Wow.
Okay, so way back when, he taught me how to surf, and he brought out the ukulele. I'm like, wow, I was very intrigued by it, So we used to just hang afterwards, and I picked it up and just had a knack for it.
Nice.
Loved it, and never really got deep into learning the actual, to really get good at the ukulele. Because from then I moved on to guitar, and then I had the same intrigueness about the guitar.
Yeah.
So basically, we were talking about stringed instruments that really got me, So yeah, from ukulele to guitar, and I want to say 78, 79.
Okay.
I'll go for even further back, 77, 78, 79. My dad, let's back up a second, because my dad always had good music playing in the house.
Wow,
okay?
it's important.
Back in the day when you had the turntable and you had the LPs ready to fall down when it was done, But he had like all the old jazz. I remember Phoebe Snow, George Benson, Earl Klugh. When 75, Boss Skaggs, the Silk Degrees album, I remember that very well, because I'm like, wow, Lowdown, he does that bass thing.
Yeah.
But mind you, I wasn't playing bass just then, I was playing guitar. So I was into Earl Klugh and George Benson a lot. And that's when I used to play with friends, the guitar. We used to have duos, jam sessions, backyard jam sessions down by the beach, and just playing guitar, I got into the local scene, the local music scene back in Hawaii back then, and we started playing all that island music stuff, So definitely a stringed instrument was meant for me,
Got you.
So
What made you pick up a bass?
here we come right now. I was just about to go there. So I know this very well. My freshman year in high school, I was in the 9th grade. I was in this class called Polynesian Music Instrumentation class. So basically it was playing guitars, learning about the guitars, but they called it the Polynesian music class. So that teacher that was teaching that course was also a trombone player at night, and he taught middle school during the day. So he found out that I played guitar. He could see the coordination, I guess. I had a little bit of that, so he introduced me to the bass. He actually said, have you ever played an electric bass guitar or play 4-string bass? I'm like, never. But I knew he was a top on a guitar. He was the top 4 strings.
Yeah.
So I was very familiar with all that stuff. So lo and behold, he just brings out a bass one day, and we started to play blues, and I just had it. I just had the knack for it. I knew when the changes were coming. I knew when to change and stuff, and it just took off. And then my next year in high school, the music teacher at that high school were friends with the music teacher in the middle school. So he sort of recruited me to play. And this guy was the choir teacher. He directed a full choir, and his wife played the piano, and he recruited me to play bass with his wife playing piano. So basically it was a big choir, and I was in the class.
Gotcha.
So I learned, singing in the bass section. No pun intended, He gets me in, and at first we started with the electric bass. So they went out back, this was exactly 79. So he brings in this Music Man Stingray bass.
Oh, nice.
In 79, you know? I had no idea when it came out. All I knew was a nice sunburst bass, you know, and I loved it. And then he introduced the upright bass to me. So he says, I'm like, no, I have no clue how to play that, you know? So he just showed me the basics, you know? Because of him, he really took me under his wing, you know? Because mind you, that was I was 10th grader. So now, you know, I'm like 15, you know? So I had music courses throughout my whole high school years, and he really took me under his wing. I was privileged to be working in clubs during my high school years, so I was thrown into the pool.
Nice.
You know, I was thrown into the pool and sink or swim, buddy, you know?
And that sure beats flipping burgers, right?
Oh. Yeah. How do you know I flip burgers? No, yeah, so that was a blessing, you know. That was a blessing for that, you know. And just basically, I've been playing ever since, you know.
Got you. And with your situation in the club, that's, from what I understand, a place where you had the chance to play with a lot of, you know, people.
Absolutely.
You know.
I was, okay, now I'm 18, okay?
Yeah.
Now I'm 18, and I get a call. I'm actually doing a gig out there in Hawaii Kai. I remember it was called the Spin Drifter. It was a restaurant. And I remember getting a call from this guy. Well, he heard that I was playing with this band. They had local bands always playing every weekend. So apparently this guy was looking for a bassist in a club down in Waikiki called Nick's Fish Market.
Gotcha.
Okay, Nick's Fish Market was a fine dining restaurant. Low ceiling, dark. A lot of the celebrities were hung out in there, you know. Back then, Magnum PI was on, you know. So after a day of shooting Magnum PI, all these guys would come in there, and they knew the owner of the restaurant. He used to own the Denver Broncos back then. Yeah, Pat Boland was his name.
Yeah.
I remember this very well. So, and here I am, 18 years old, and amongst this kind of a crowd, you know. So that's the kind of music that they were being played back then, and just dove in, man. Just dove in.
Very cool.
Dove in. I want to back up just 1 second back to my high school year. That's how I learned how to read music, because I was in the choir. I was choir singing the bass parts. So I was reading a bass clef, and basically I wasn't reading it. I wasn't watching notes. I was looking at the lyrics.
Exactly.
So then I put it together. It's like, okay, the lyrics are tied into the notes. Now take the lyrics away, that's the same melody. I'm like, oh wow. And that got me. That stuck with me.
Gotcha.
You know? Of course, that was in high school. Fast forward to me playing at Nick's Fish Market in those days. A lot of celebrities, a lot of artists, and basically a lot of singers and artists used to come through and sit in with the band a lot. You know, so that was my first experience about people sitting in, you know, which meant, hey, do you know this song? Can we do this song in this key?
Sure.
And I'm like,
shooting from the hip, you know?
yeah. And a couple times I didn't, and I felt like the one that was left out.
Yeah.
So instead of me trying to fiddle through it and trying to work my way in, I just laid out. But I remember that feeling of not being part of that, and I said, you know, I gotta dive in deeper.
Gotcha.
You know, I gotta dive in deeper, and on-the-job experience, man. On-the-job experience from the early '80s up until now is what I really I'm blessed that I got through that, you know.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And my guess is as well, and one of the most important things, of course, I get on my soapbox and talk about how important education and music is. You know, it's one of those things that they keep wanting to cut funding to.
Oh my gosh, I know.
But look what a huge impact it had in your life.
Absolutely correct.
And what it did.
And you know what? It's even stronger now. What they don't see, you know, the people that's trying to cut these programs to save money here and there, what they don't see is the benefits, the other benefits. Okay, all they see is dollar signs.
Yeah.
Okay, the benefits of memorizing music, memorizing lyrics, using your brain to study that, using your ear and eye coordination and hand coordination to make it all work. You know, that's so important. You know.
Well, and even if you don't end up being a musician professionally, you take away a lot from that, because I'm sure there are people, if you're like me, there were people in my high school choir that didn't go on to do anything with music, but it helped them throughout life.
It does. Well, it to me it's therapeutic.
Yeah.
You know, my dad, for instance, a great example. You know, he wasn't never a professional, but he always had the guitar on the stand, and that what led me to pick it up, mess around with it, and learn. But if you're feeling sad, or if you had a long day, tired day, and you close your eyes and play the guitar, man, that stuff, something about that just, it does it, you know. It does it, you know, and even more, like I said, it's even more stronger now about that, with all the health issues going on with, you know, memory loss stuff, you know, dementias and
gotta keep those circuits
all that
working
stuff, you
the
know,
whole time, yeah.
And to think about it, to think about reading those notes, to make you look at it, it just makes you, you know, makes the brain work harder, you know. And I'm a big stickler about that, so I'm blessed that I still do it.
Yeah.
And even in Las Vegas, as we speak, I do gigs where I just start reading on the spot, and it keeps me on my toes. So I love the challenge still.
Well, and you made the leap, and this is kind of a little
Yes.
gap we've got, is you left Hawaii and decided to go to Las Vegas.
A lot of people ask me, why did you leave Hawaii, man? Why did you leave Hawaii for Vegas? I'm like, you know, that paradise and the paradise in Vegas is different, but it's still beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, but all I do is I went and I said, listen.
Yeah.
And that's all I do, you know. I said, that's not the big reason why, but
it's a reasonable, you know, for because if you're going to do this, you've only got so long in life, and you want to make it count.
the
you know.
primary reason why I did that, I made that leap, was to broaden my horizons with my career.
Gotcha.
I wanted to be challenged more. I really wanted to stretch out more. I really expose myself to different players, different levels, and see if I could hang.
Gotcha.
That's the main reason why.
Gotcha.
And one of the best decisions I did. Been in Las Vegas for 18 years now, and it's one of the best decisions I did.
And it got you in the right place to connect
Right
with
time.
the family
Correct.
stone, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. That's correct. Yes.
And so you were tasked with the challenging part of picking up where Larry Graham left off,
Oh my
right?
gosh. Oh my gosh. You know what? To be sitting in those and to fill those shoes, of course, it's a huge chore. But I'm blessed to be in that position, and I'm
Very
really
cool.
happy. You know. Yeah.
And along with that, you're up here. We're up in LNA, the Casino and Resort in Ridgefield, Washington, and you're playing with Whitney Houston Tribute Band today, right?
Yes. It's called Remembering Whitney,
Okay.
featuring Trina Johnson Finn.
Nice.
So
Nice. So you get a chance to tour the country a little bit too, and
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
see some green that you won't see in Las Vegas.
Yeah, right. Well, it was a beautiful day today. It was amazing.
Today was
You know,
great.
I was ready to go sunbathe. You know, like wait a minute.
It's not quite that. We're in the
up
middle of
here-
the winter up here, so
I
it's
know,
not
Pacific
warming up.
Northwest. I'm like, where? But I was very glad that it was a beautiful day.
That's why when they surf up here, they have to wear dry suits and wetsuits.
Wetsuits, yeah.
It's not like Hawaii that you go and enjoy some nice water.
No, yeah, it's that cold. That's that coldness. You know, yeah.
Gotcha. So what do you have planned? Because we know that you've got ongoing on and off with the Family Stone, depending on their schedule,
Yeah.
but you're kind of freelancing in Vegas.
Yeah, everything is based around the Family Stone now. I've been with the Family Stone since '06, and usually during the last quarter or of the year, every year we take off.
Gotcha.
From Thanksgiving on, we take off for family time. So we're kicking it back up in now that we're in January. We're kicking it back end of the month.
Gotcha.
And they start routing dates and stuff. So everything that I do is based around the Family Stone touring schedule. When I'm not, I'm in Las Vegas filling the holes and doing gigs here and there on both bases, upright and electric. Sometimes I'm doing both one night, you know, on the same gig, you know,
Wow.
doing the shows over there and some of the stuff like that, you know. It's a very and stuff like this with Trina, you know, when I'm available, you know, she checks the dates, you know, and I'll do stuff like this with anybody, you know. It's just I'm open to all kinds of genres. I'm open to all kinds of challenges. And one of the, you know, getting back about the beautiful green, you know, the greenery. It's like one of the beautiful things about being a touring musician is you get to see the
some of the nice
world.
stuff, yeah.
Beautiful world out there, you know. when we go to the UK and different parts of the country, it's amazing. It's a beautiful life, you know. I love it, and I thank God that I'm blessed to do that, you know, for a living.
Absolutely. Well, and you know, basically, I think I see a lot of there's kind of two paths, and this will be oversimplifying because there are bass musicians that will get a long-term gig and just stick with that. Like we talked with Ricky Phillips with Styx was playing up here in Ridgefield at the amphitheater.
Oh, okay.
And they've been going for, I mean, how old is Styx?
Right,
and how long have they been going?
Right.
And, you know, it's a working thing, and they're still touring 200 days out of the year.
Wow.
You know, they're just going at it.
Yeah.
And so when I said, what else you got going on? He's like, I got enough going on with
this. You got
this.
no time, exactly.
Whereas I was talking with Derek Frank, he plays with Shania Twain.
I know Derek, yeah.
And, you know, he's juggling other stuff and going, okay, well, you know, he had to give up on Air Supply because he's been too busy with Shania, but he wants to record some of his own stuff. And, you know,
he's also with Mindy.
Yes.
Mindy, yeah.
Yeah.
Mindy Aber, yeah.
And so it's a juggling act.
It sure is a juggling act.
But
you know.
it doesn't get dull, that's for sure.
No, it doesn't. You know, it just, and to be versatile is a plus.
Yeah.
You know, to be open and not be set on one kind of genre. I mean, to each his own. You could just stick to rock or metal.
Oh yeah.
I'm one of those. I love all kinds of music. You know.
Yeah.
One day I'll be playing an upright Latin jazzy gig. The next day I'll be playing classic rock. The next day I'll be playing funky R&B.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? So I love it all.
Gotcha.
I love it all.
Well, and do you have any future projects? Something that either you're thinking of doing or you'd like to do?
Oh, eventually, like other peers of mine, I wanna do a solo project out there. You know, work on doing a solo project. Not so much featuring playing wise as far as chops is concerned. You know, we can do that, and that'd be fine too. But I want to try some different angles at this. You know,
Gotcha.
One of the things that really intrigued me was when Carlos Santana did that Supernatural album back in 2000. You know, where he had all these different artists singing, featuring different singers and stuff, and that was very cool. You know, but I'm looking at original music and trying to get always experimenting with different sounds and different being open and being versatile to all kinds of different music. But eventually, I want to have a Blaise Sison CD out there. Eventually,
that would be
you know.
Nice. You make sure to let us know when
Absolutely.
when that comes up.
Absolutely. And in the meantime, I'm just learning and growing. Man.
Gotcha.
Everything I do is all about learning and growing. You know, and I will continue to. And being a musician, I don't think you ever retire. You know, you'll never retire. I remember Jerry Martini, who was the original sax player with Sly and the Family Stone. You know, we just celebrated his 75th birthday in October.
Still blowing?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I remember him saying that. You know, so, I mean, no, there's no retirement for a musician. He says after retirement is actually death.
Yeah.
So when you die, you're done.
Then you retire.
You know, in a more pleasant way, of course.
Of course.
But, you know,
not as bleak.
Yeah.
But also, so I don't forget, let's talk a little bit how you get your bass, your voice. What gear are you playing on?
Oh, okay. Well, specifically for the Family Stone, it's always been about the Fender Jazz.
Yeah.
You know, back when Sly recorded all of those great, wonderful hits, him and Larry. My whole setup for the sound is a Fender Jazz or a 4-string, a 4-string, not necessarily a Fender bass, but a 4-string bass with I use flat wound strings.
Flat wounds.
I use flat wound strings for the Family Stone gig.
Nice.
You know, I'm all about as much authenticity as possible with all kinds of music and genres, okay? Whether it's Latin jazz, playing that bass correctly, country, R&B, laying it down. But for the Family Stone music, that's what I use. The basses I use right now is MTD basses.
Okay.
I've been with Mike Tobias for some time now. I'm also working along with ESP basses. So I use their products also. I got this beautiful 5-string fretless bass that I've been using. It's a Bunny Brunel model, signature bass from ESP. And I'm having a lot of fun with that. For upright bass strings, it's the same. I've been using Black Diamond electric bass strings since 01 for the electric basses, and super sensitive strings for the upright bass, which is the same company.
Good.
Yeah. So, shout out to them.
There we go. Black Diamond. And amplification-wise, what are you playing through?
Okay, on tour, I use Hartke stuff.
Okay.
So I've been using Larry Hartke stuff. I want to say now at least 10 years. At least 10 years. Most very consistent stuff, and always available internationally.
Yeah.
On tour. We do a lot of fly dates, so we don't do any too much bus driving dates. It's all flying in. So on the back line, they have it all together.
Nice.
And Hartke's always available. I know there's lots of other stuff out there. There's a ton of other stuff, bass amps and gear out there, but that's what I use on the gigs.
Gotcha. Are you using much in the way of pedals at all, or?
Pedals, for the Family Stone, I do.
You got a little funky.
I do. Well, the main pedal for the Family Stone is a fuzz box. Okay, back in those days when Larry and Sly were writing, so there's this one fuzz box I've been using now over 10 years. 06 I came on board, so right at 06, I had to search for a fuzz box, and I found one. Okay. The company's no longer in business, but it's a Frantone.
Okay.
Okay. F-A-R-A-N-T-O-N-E. Frantone. Peach fuzz.
Nice.
Fuzz box. I mean, now it's just a black box with no words on it because it's so old that you can't tell what it is. So it's called the mysterious box.
Yeah.
Everybody always asks that question. What kind of fuzz box is it? What's that effect you're pressing on? I'm like, okay.
As long as it still works, that's all that matters, right?
Well, it's working great, man.
Nice.
And unfortunately, the company is no longer in. But I still keep in touch with the person that built that. It was a she.
Oh.
And one thing about that Frantone Peach Fuzz, I've tried so much different fuzz boxes for the gig, and this one never loses the low end when you enable it.
Yeah.
When you kick in the effect, sometimes some other boxes, some other brands, you lose the low end. This is opposite. When I kick it in, it kicks in the low end, and it's like boom, and I love it. I use that, and that's it, man. As far as effects, I use Boss pedals as far as tuners, and I take it back. I still use the Chorus CE3. That's one of the nice little flavoring spice you can add in some songs, but it's not significant. It's not a significant pedal as the fuzz box.
Gotcha.
The fuzz box is a very significant part of the Sly and the Family Stone sound. Yeah.
Well, that and those flat wounds.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all that combination to get that voice.
Yes, it is.
Well, Blaise,
it's cool.
It's been great to have a chance to chat with
thank
you.
you,
We
bro.
appreciate you taking time. We're at Ilani Casino and Resort up here in Ridgeville, Washington. A great new facility, and we're looking forward to a lot of future bassists coming through here and having a chance to chat with you guys. So big shout out to Ilani.
Hey,
Folks, you've seen it here. Blaise Sison coming to you live on Bass Musician Magazine.
Mahalo.
Hey, aloha.
Mahalo.
Thanks for basing out with us here on BassMusicianMagazine.com.